What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Cartoon Season. I am Tyler, and today we're talking about Death Note. Death Note, the anime, right? We do talk about anime on here sometimes. I'd say sometimes anime, mostly cartoons, mostly shows, sometimes movies. I do gotta start doing some more anime movies though, because I've done some, a lot of cartoon movies in the, what's the word? On deck, the baseball term. But yeah, we're talking about Death Note. Death Note's one of those funny ones that it's kind of part of my my new thing I've been trying to do the past I don't know, like few months, maybe close to a year. I don't know. Where I've just part of me's decided I cannot watch every anime that's ever been made because that will take let me check my watch, 1,000 years. But I'm trying to also, one, cut down on the anime I watch to only do specific ones, and with that, I am trying to pick more specifically like the shows that are highly regarded, very, very popular, just basically these like holes in my anime, cheese, like a good Swiss, and Death Note's one of them. Death Note's one that, admittedly, I didn't just finish this, but I finished it very, very recently, after being an anime fan for years. Never got around to Death Note, but now I did. And it's great, it's awesome. Two main things today. Gonna be talking about the morality of what Light was doing. Get into that a little bit, because it's a little shaky here and there. I don't know if I quite agree with his his methods, even though in his mind the ends justify the means. And I would say the more in-depth topic I want to get into is how I feel that the show changed after L died. We'll get into if I feel it changed for the better or for worse, but I do feel like it definitely changed after L died, and that was 2/3 of the way through the show. But before we get into that, as I always say, make sure to go to the Tiger T YouTube channel, watch more episodes of this, listen, I guess. There are visuals, but mostly just listen. Or purely audio people can go to the favorite podcast platform of choice, pretty much everywhere. Even on ones that I am not too familiar with myself. But yeah, we're going to start talking about Death Note. So first, like I said, the morality of what L was doing. He's trying to rid the world of evil, which as a goal, as a top level goal, very, very admirable. Can't really argue with that as a goal. Get rid of the world, get rid of the evil in the world. Awesome, cool beans. I hope you succeed. But the way he does it, I feel, is where the problems arise. Where yes, he is killing criminals. He's doing it with heart attacks, which is kind of sick. I mean, because he's like, is that a humane way to kill someone with a heart attack? I feel like that's heart attack in the moment's probably pretty painful. And then also it's like, and this is where you can really get into it. Criminals, like he would kill any level of criminal. Like where's the line? Well, the line is not in a good spot. Like if you rob a convenience store, you are eligible to be on his kill list. And to me, I don't know, because then we get to the weird like death penalty type conversation, and it's like, I don't think I would ever give someone the death penalty for robbing a convenience store. Now, if you took someone's life in the the act of robbing a convenience store, then we get a little closer to maybe. But like is littering, because littering is illegal. You can get fined pretty heavily for something like that. Where's the line? And also, we're gonna get more into this, I'm sure, but he's literally playing God. Where why is he the judge, jury, and executioner when it comes to what is good and what is bad? Is he really that good? Even take away him getting the death note. Is just him in his regular life, is he really that that like measuring stick for what, what someone should be, how they should act. I don't know, but he was given the power, and I guess he's he's definitely using it. And a little bit later, we come up with the kind of realization of some more of these powers. Light says that he cannot trade half his life for the Shinigami powers because he's the god of this new world. So just a little setup there. As we know, you can trade half your life for Shinigami powers, which basically gives you, it gives you the eyes, right? So you can see, I think you can see people's lifespan, right? But I think the big thing is that you can see people's names, which would be very useful, right? Because that's what you need. You need to write someone's name in the death note to kill them. It might be a little difficult to find out just a random person's name, which is why he watches the news. That's how he is able to find the names of criminals and death note them. But he says that he is not going to do that, and the sole reason for doing it is because I can't trade half my life. I'm God, If I die sooner, then the world is without their God. It would crumble, and like that is already the level that he is at. And again, very questionable, Later on, he kills about a dozen FBI agents to intimidate the investigation. I mean, that right there, it's like, now we're just off of criminals. Now, we have moved away from, I'm killing criminals to make the world a better place. Now it's, oh, well, what I'm doing is right, and so anyone who gets in my way will be killed because I'm making the world a better place. You wouldn't kill the person that's making the world a better place, would you? Again, that is already that's already where his mind's at, and again, in a sense, he's right, but why is he that determines that? Why is he that who gets to decide what is truth? A little later on, Light reveals to Naomi Misura he is Kira, as he kills her with the Death Note, and that right there. Again, on one hand, like I just said, he's now just killing people that are getting in his way. It's not just criminals anymore. It's not just ridding the world of evil. He's now trying to look at it from a grander scale that makes it even more morally gray. But then on the other hand, he does it in such a super villain way, where he like stares her down with this smug look and like, I'm Kira, and like he does it in just enough time so that he can get her visual reaction to realizing that he's Kira, for her to then die in front of him. Like, come on, man, that's you're a supervillain. You are now moved into the supervillain territory where supervillains always think that they're right and they're always the ones doing the right thing. They're always the ones that are actually making the world a better place. But it's again, a lot of the times as a supervillain versus superhero, the difference is the execution. Pun not intended. The execution of how you are getting to where you are trying to get to. And a little bit later, Light promises to his hospital-ridden dad that Kira will be caught and executed. Now we're lying. Now we've moved on to lying, and we've already kind of been lying up until this point. But like, you're lying to your father who is in the hospital right now. You don't know if he's gonna survive. You know what I mean? You go and execute. Like you can catch yourself, execute yourself. He's definitely not gonna do that because we a couple bullet points ago. Like I said, he's not trading half his life for Shinigami powers because he's the god of the new world. So he's not gonna catch and execute himself. Then how will he make the world a better place? Then we got L's records of Kira's case. Light just deletes them. Again, covering his own tracks. Again, he's trying to make the means, he's trying to make the end justify the means. But everything he does that in his mind is right, if you step out of yourself for a second, it doesn't look good, my man. And now Light can do whatever he wants, because now L is dead. Who cares? No one else is gonna get, like, L was it. L was the only man that was gonna ever really discover. Like, there was a couple other people that maybe found it out. We go back to Naomi Misura, but like, L was the only real, was only the real one, Like he was there from the jump. He found out who he was, you know. But yeah, and that's kind of where I'm gonna stop it, because then that does kind of very nicely transition into the next topic. But that right there, the morality of what he's doing, it's like that. I mean, that's a conversation, right? And I'm sure when the show came out, it was a much bigger conversation within the community. But just to see what y'all think about this, because I don't know. You know, I think initially him. I mean, like, because you can argue, right? Because there are. You can argue there are quite a few pretty evil people in the world. You know, just based off their actions. But like, even then, it's like, who are you to be the one who decides their fate? Like, even if, let's just say, for example, a person super evil deserves to die, right? 100% they deserve to die for the things they've done in their life. They've done some truly evil stuff. Even if that's the case, why do you get to be the one that takes their life? You know, I'm not saying they shouldn't die, 'cause as I've just prefaced, they do. But why is it Light that gets to be the one who wields the axe? You know. Let me know what you guys think, you know, because about the whole situation, because I'm curious. Me personally, if I have to like have a stance, I don't think the ends justify the means, because I feel like maybe at the beginning they did, but again, like I said, as it goes on, he just becomes a supervillain, and he's now just killing people to protect himself. Yeah, we'll see what you guys think. Like I said, it does transition nicely into the next topic of L. That picture freaked me out. I forgot I put that picture in. The show changed after L died, and the reveal of what my initial thoughts are, I think it got worse. I think the show got worse. I think the show was still fantastic. I think I gave the show a 9 out of 10 or something. I truly don't like the show as much once L was gone. I think L was like the backbone of the show. He was the one that kept the show interesting, because he was real, you know. I don't know, do I ever touch on this at all? No, I don't touch on this specifically. So one of my favorite things about L is that he doesn't just know everything, you know. He doesn't just immediately like just pick up everything. He's like, oh yeah, this is this. This man named Light is Kira. Let's get him. Like, he doesn't just get that. Like, we see his point of view. We see him work things out. And we see many things, because we as the viewers, we are omniscient. We know everything, or at least most things. There are some things the show keeps, some things that the show hides from us to have nice reveals. But like, there are many theories that L has throughout the show. We're like, no, that's wrong. That is not at all what is happening. Because there was a point where he thought that there was only one Kira, there was multiple Kiras. Now that like there are many theories that he puts out there that we as a viewer immediately disregard. But it is very nice to see him work through it. I think that strengthens the character. It's not just a mystery show where the lead detective just immediately figures everything out, because that's boring. But starting a little bit further in the beginning, Elle immediately tricks Light into revealing that Kira lives in Japan's Kanto region. So again, like, a lot of this is going to just me touching on why Elle is a monster in a good way. Right off rip, he's able to get that information from Light of like where Kira lives. Just based on how Light answers questions, how Kira kills, and how he must be getting the information for him to be able to kill. Like, immediately figures that out. But again, he doesn't figure it out because he just guesses it. Like, he actually is clever. Next, we got Al suggests Kira might be a student with a naive concept of justice and must have access to police info. Again, he's able to work through that because one, someone older with more experience may not be going about this the same way a student, a younger person might be doing, right? Which he was right. And then also he must have access to police info. Again, with the news, figuring out the names is one thing, but then there are some things that Kira is able to do, and like how quickly he's able to do it and how efficiently he's able to do it. He must have some access to some private information, such as some police information. Again, very, very smart. Not just guessing everything. Elle then puts cameras in everyone's homes. He's a savage. He's, yeah, we're going to put cameras in everyone's homes. Everyone's investigation, because there might be ties to not you, but maybe someone who lives with you, something like that. And again, if you're not guilty, you should have nothing to hide. Let's put cameras in the homes for a couple weeks, and we will be able to exonerate everyone here, and everyone here's family. You know? Again, might be seen as overboard, but Elle covers all of his bases. Elle thinks that the two Kiras may have met and are working together. Again, he works this out because of how the two separate Kiras operate, and how it seems like the killings changed suddenly. So there must be two Kiras, because the first Kira never did a lot of these types of killings before this certain point. Again, it just all works. You know, it all works up here, and it's all earned. Elle concocts a plan for Light's dad to kill Light and himself out of shame. Again, very much overboard, but it's the only way in his mind to be able to exonerate the dad, exonerate Light. You know, even the girl, which I don't remember her name. I didn't write the name in here, because why would I? But again, that is something so hardcore that if Kira is as hardcore himself as he may seem, from obviously all the murder, then if Light was Kira, Light may have done something in that moment. Again, we know that Light is Kira. We know that the girl is the second Kira. So again, we can see the failings of something like this, but it is still very nice to see the crazy plans that Elle concocts, including Elle tying himself to Light and saying, we're going to be tied together. So nowhere for you to hide. If you end up killing people, reveal yourself to be Kira, I'll see it. There's no way I won't. Again, it's just it's not only crazy and clever things, it's also these like wacky things that only Elle would think of, you know. Elle asks Rem about Shinigami and Death Notes. Very smart, okay? Him being able to see the Shinigami, and him being able to question it, trying to get this extra information out of her. And this does lead to basically the end, where we almost see Elle becoming a little soft, like almost fully take Light out of his mind. In the end, Rem does end up killing Elle. That does sacrifice herself. But that right there is the defining moment in which this kind of thing came about in my mind. Because in that moment when Elle dies, a lot of stuff happens, right? I already mentioned a bunch of it. Some stuff I haven't mentioned is how, again, Light, very, very arrogant in that moment. Him and Elle have like an unspoken conversation where, again, very similar to the Naomi Misura one, where Elle then in that moment realizes, oh, I was right. I am dying, and it is because I've been outsmarted by Light. Again, fantastic moment. But this is the turning point for me in the show, which I don't think it gets bad, but I think it gets worse. Because again, this was 2/3 of the way through the show. 37 episodes in total. I think this was like 23, episode 23, something like that. And in my mind, I was like, oh, Elle dies. What is the rest of the show gonna be? Like, Light wins, right? What else is there? And then we have Mello and Nier. Mello and Nier are basically the next L's. I don't think either one of them by themselves is as good as L, but I think them together, even if they're not directly working together, I think them both existing and going towards the same goal, I think is why the ending is how it ends. Mello and Nier are racing to see who catches Kira first. Again, I don't, part of me doesn't like the whole like sibling rivalry aspect of it. Again, this whole half is now going to be me just trashing on why I don't like Mello and Nier as much as L, basically. The Japanese team doesn't believe that Light is Kira, which is just crazy to me because, like, I don't know, like that was L's main theory, and now for L to die suddenly, it's like, I mean, if Light figured out that L was a little too close to him, a little too close to figuring out the truth, I mean, L was gonna die, right? I don't know. I just feel like for them to so strongly at one point in the show just not believe it, crazy. Light uses his old girlfriend for his cause. Yeah, it's cool, I guess. I didn't really dig that aspect of it, especially with how easily they were able to like Light and his old girlfriend were able to trick them by just like, oh well, they can hear us and see us, so I'm just gonna write stuff down. Like, okay, cool. Light declares his victory over Nier, which is really dope. At the very end, and he kind of throws all his cards on the table right there because he feels like he won. It turns out that Nier outsmarted him. I'm not gonna get too much into it, but it's basically with like the double and triple and quadruple fake outs with the Death Note itself and the fake Death Note and the fake real Death Note, and it gets really complicated at the end. One hand, it's really, really cool. The other hand, a little too complicated for my own personal taste, but him, it does also show the what's the word, I don't know the word. What's the word when they say that like plastic bottles, it takes like this many years for it to disintegrate into the earth? What's the word that people use? Is it like it doesn't matter. I'm spending too much time on it. It just shows his like his crumbling, right, as a character, where he just gets, I feel, more and more desperate. As time goes on, and for him to come out and be like, I've won, it's over, like, especially for him to admit it, like, it's like he's never done that before. He's always been really, really sly with it. And then also, who's to say that there isn't anyone else out there other than Mello and Nier that can, so it's really weird for me for him to just be like, I've won. But again, I feel like it does make sense because of how, again, I feel desperate he's become and how much more and more and more pressure is put on him. So we'll see. Nier shoots him and he is very much going to die, and it ends with how it is going out. It was kind of suggested it was going to end with Ryuk writing down Light's name in his own Death Note, which you remember in the beginning that Ryuk said he was going to do that. I'm pretty sure it was like any person who gets my Death Note and uses it then dies from my Death Note, basically. Light dies of cardiac arrest, and he sees L's figure in front of him basically as he's dying, which I'm sure has a lot of different meanings. I just kind of see it as that was his formidable foe. He also has a very particular relationship with L, so it's very fitting to see him in his death. But yeah, I mean, just overall, that's how the show ends. Just overall, I mean, I feel like Mello and Nier aren't completely bad, but I do think that there's a lot of stuff that feels a little more rushed. I mean, especially with all of L's stuff just being destroyed, and for how quickly like Mello and Nier kind of figure stuff out. Again, it's almost like they took all of the figuring outs that L did in 23 episodes, give or take, they did in 13 episodes, give or take. You know, so they really did squish it down. And like, I just didn't like it as much. I didn't like their personalities as much. I don't know. I just thought L was more mysterious. He was cooler. I feel like we got to see him figure stuff out a lot more, especially with like Mellow and Near, where it's like they had to like refigure stuff out as well. So it's like kind of boring because it's like, oh well, Light already saw this, you know. And then also some of this stuff was a little overboard for me. Not bad, you know. Like I said, I still gave this like a 9 out of 10. I think if they somehow were able to keep L alive until the end, I think it could have been bumped up to a 10 out of 10 in my mind. But yeah, I mean, again, there's a lot of storylines that happen after he dies where I just don't really love. I think it's a little too convenient, some of the stuff. But you know, it is what it is. L is my favorite character of the show, so again, I am biased towards anyone who wants to replace him. You know. But yeah, I think overall, fantastic show. Really good. Kept me guessing the whole time. As much as I didn't like some characters, most of the characters were very interesting, very fun to watch. It was nice to see the head-to-head battle of Light and L, kind of like duking it out, and both of them being very right and very wrong in very key moments. A lot of the ridiculousness of some of the situations that came in really cool. And yeah, I was just sad to see him die. Didn't think it was gonna happen. Didn't necessarily think L was gonna win, but I didn't think he was gonna die. But yeah, really good show. That's pretty much all I have to say on it. There's no new season, so I don't have to do predictions for something like this. But yeah, just let me know what you thought of the show. Again, with these two particular topics, let me know what you thought of them, both from the morality of what Light was doing, as well as what you thought about L dying, and that kind of turning point in the show for me anyway. And then yeah, let me know what other shows you want me to do. Anime, cartoons, movies as well, not only shows, movies. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Good show, jolly good show. As that just it hit me with a memory of Adventure Time, right? Or not Adventure Time, the other one, regular show with Pops. Great character. I gotta do a regular show at some point. But yeah, that's it. Until next time, watch some good anime. You know, maybe we'll find another really good, like, finished anime that I can do really soon. I got a lot of ideas, so let's just watch more anime, you know?